want to simulate that in this specific example. So that is an example of how you can identify an exercise and modify it for your sport.
It's time for a quick break. There are millions of potential products to buy, so how do you know which ones are worth your hard-earned money? Simple. You go to nextlevelguy.com/affiliates and explore those that will transform and improve your life. You'll find deals, listener exclusives, and special offers with some great companies. Recommendations are 100% honest and only on items Ian has tried or believes in. The companies showcased will make you a better man in all areas of your life. Simply go to nextlevelguy.com/affiliates and level up.
Because mentioning your newsletters, for example, there was a recent one on hydration, one about like your ebooks that you give away free. That a lot of people would be paying top dollar for them because they're so good, and you're giving away a great program to get people in a shape. You take all this out, you take all the really kind of like high level expertise out of it. So you say to people, just follow that, do that, don't ruin your training. Use it as a side, use it as a bit. You take all the hard stuff out of it for people to say, there you go, just rock that. You'll see the gains, and I love that. I love you give so much free quality content out. What about mobility? Because the other great thing you do is you don't just talk about how to be an animal and explode and go through people. You say you've got tight shoulders, do this. If you've got restrictive like hips, do this, and you show the stretch to do and things like that. What kind of mobility like side training would you do? How do we make the movements beneficial to jiu-jitsu? Is it like 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at night? Is that old style thinking? Is it beneficial? How can we do these things?
Well, I would say that with the whole like 10 minutes of the morning, 10 minutes of the evening, if you have time and you're willing, go for it. That is always going to be beneficial. If you have time to dedicate once a week to do like an hour long, instead of doing like weightlifting specifically, do mobility. So active mobility, becoming stronger in different ranges of motion, and maybe throw in some stretching in there as well. Great, go for it. But a lot of people don't have time to, or not saying don't have time, but aren't willing to invest that time in just mobility when they're trying to balance all of their other life responsibilities, and eliminate that. Just look at your training schedule for the average jiu-jitsu athlete that is considering adding mobility. You have your jiu-jitsu, which is an average between 2.5 to say 4 sessions per week. And then you have strength and conditioning. I recommend a minimum of 2 to get real benefit. If one's all you can manage, do it, but 2 is minimum in my opinion. And then I'm asking you to add another mobility session on top of that. It all becomes too much, right? So in terms of when to include your mobility, I recommend, if you can do it of the morning, great, go for it. Not realistic. So do it as a warm-up before your standard class warm-up. So get to class just 10 minutes earlier than you normally would. 10 minutes, if you can manage it, and do your mobility then. If you do that every session, that's 40 minutes. If you do 4 a week, 4 jiu-jitsu sessions a week, that's 40 minutes per week of mobility. If you're doing 2 strength and conditioning sessions, do the same thing for strength and conditioning. Do a mini 5 to 10 minute mobility warm-up. So that's now an hour. That's 60 minutes of mobility that you're doing. That's not including the cool down time that we already spoke about. You don't have to necessarily give yourself a full mobility session. But if you want to, and if you're able to, yeah, it would definitely help. It would definitely be beneficial. I do have you may have seen it, Ian, but it's a 30-day jiu-jitsu mobility challenge that I did.
Fantastic.